Is that why you decide to protest? Because you want these issues to be dealt with urgency, with the quickness?
Well, somewhat, but my protesting history has less to do with me and more to do with God. I just follow the instructions that I'm giving.
Mm.
That's what I do. So when God tells me to move, I move. And I think when you think about destiny or manifesting your destiny, that is sometimes the hardest part, is following instructions from an instructor that's not telling you, do exactly this. God didn't tell me verbally. He made me feel something. So I've always felt something, at least since I was a young baby, since I was a young child. What I do now is no different than what I felt then. It's just that nowadays it's giving more justification. When you're younger, they call you being rambunctious and youthful exuberance. And when you're older, they call you being an activist and being astute. So it's always been here. I've heeded the call in a different manner at this age.
So I want to dive into that part where you said that you're just led by God in all that you do. I want to ask this question. What is the relationship between justice and God, or justice and Jesus, or justice and Muhammad?
I think the relationship between justice and anything religious is that people personify this idea that justice is silence, and Jesus is silent, Muhammad is silence, that we are all living in this kumbaya-esque world of dealing with Jesus, God, et cetera, when it becomes to justice. Justice is fought for. Okay? When we don't like, I think what happens is we don't like the way it's done in this day. And I think because a lot of people have fought for justice differently. See, when you look at the Bible tells you so many stories, some very graphic, about justice for God, through God, by God. But now we live in this generation where people like to act as if, oh no, let's come and talk and sign declarations. Lest we forget that when Moses was taking the people through the sea that was parted by God, the burning bush was there, and the soldiers went after them, and the sea closed on them.
My God.
And slaughtered. That's justice. And I think the problem is, because Christianity, especially in the Americas, was used to pacify Black people especially, you now see people who are debating, how do I move? Because the thing of the matter is, when you think about justice, I always say this, I will always use the military idealism. I love the justice of being an American. I love the justice of having my Constitution. I love the justice of having my rights. But to have those rights, many other people have to go and fight for those. They're going fighting in Iraq, fighting in Afghanistan, fighting in China, fighting in Europe, whatever. They fought to make sure that you and me could just be on a Zoom call casually on a Tuesday morning.
And still are.
There we go, and still are. But I think for Black people, in their Black growth, in their Black identity, they feel as if we need to keep our hands. If we are following best practices, justice is dirty and it gets very messy. And freedom has a very expensive price that all must be willing to pay with their lives, with their cleanliness, with their everything, if they want it, if they really want it. Because in a month, we'll honor people from the American Civil War who died on all sides. We honor them. They weren't sitting there saying, let's just do legislation. You need both. Before the diplomats go in to do diplomacy, the army clears the way. So it's the same order of operations in Black liberation.
Yes, sir.